ChatGPT Spirituality. A Course in Miracles. Lesson 153, In My Defenselessness My Safety Lies. Lesson 153 of A Course in Miracles, ACIM, In My Defenselessness My Safety Lies, presents a deep exploration of the spiritual concepts of defenselessness and safety from the perspective of the Course's unique metaphysical system. This lesson is built on the foundational ideas of ACIM that the world we perceive is an illusion, that fear and attack are unreal, and that our true identity is the Christ, the perfectly innocent and powerful Son of God. The lesson begins by identifying the worldly threats, dangers, and the resultant defenses that we habitually erect against them. It presents the world as a place of constant attack, one that encourages defensiveness as a reasonable response. However, the lesson argues that this defensiveness is a sign of weakness, a system that ultimately does not protect us but further weakens us. In fact, it paints a vivid picture of defensiveness as a set of binding, oppressive steel bands, implying that it limits our freedom and peace. The lesson asserts that defensiveness is the costliest price that the ego demands. It suggests that the fear and threat we feel in the world are far beyond our comprehension and have caused profound devastation. We're described as slaves to this fear, sabotaging our peace and perceiving ourselves as victims in need of defense. The lesson then presents the radical alternative, defenselessness as strength. This defenselessness is based on the recognition of our true identity as the Christ, which is inherently invulnerable. The lesson argues that choosing defenselessness over defensiveness is a choice for Christ's strength over our own perceived weakness. It paints a picture of attack against this defenselessness as a silly game, implying that it's ineffective and meaningless against the reality of our strength as the Christ. The lesson suggests that defensiveness is a denial of our Christ identity and leads to fear of God. It questions the efficacy of illusions, defenses, to protect us against other illusions, attacks. The lesson calls us to abandon such childish games and embrace our true function, to save the world. The lesson further posits that we are created unassailable, and in recognizing this, we need no defense. In defenselessness, we stand secure and certain of our safety and salvation. We are encouraged to pause and contemplate the holiness and security of our purpose. The lesson presents us as God's ministers, chosen to help others realize their unity with God's will. The lesson likens salvation to a joyous game that happy children play, designed by a loving Creator. Unlike the game of fear, this game instructs in happiness and ensures gain for everyone. The lesson calls us to be happy as the game of fear is over, and it's time to put away the toys of guilt. We're encouraged to practice defenselessness consistently, beginning and ending our day with God, remembering Him hourly, and seeking His guidance. In time, the lesson promises that we will never cease to think of God, and His voice will guide us into quiet ways. The lesson concludes by reiterating the theme of defenselessness as our safety, encouraging us to rise up strong in Christ, remembering His strength abides in us. In conclusion, Lesson 153 presents a transformative spiritual perspective. It challenges our conventional understanding of defensiveness and safety and invites us to embrace a radical defenselessness rooted in our spiritual identity as the invulnerable Christ. By choosing defenselessness over defensiveness, we're choosing Christ's strength over our perceived weakness, peace over fear, freedom over imprisonment, and truth over illusion. The lesson encourages us to practice this defenselessness consistently, promising that it will lead us to lasting peace, happiness, and salvation.